Good morning. This lesson is for November 8th for pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, and second graders. We're continuing on talking about Ruth, like we did last week, the story of Ruth. And today we're going to hear about people who want to stay together. Boaz, who we talked about last week, had lots of food. He shared his food with Ruth and Naomi. So first I want to talk a little bit about farmers with you. So farmers live and work on a farm, right? And Boaz, I want to talk about Boaz because Boaz was a farmer and he had a big farm. He was a really, really good farmer and he grew lots and lots of grain. And he had lots of people working for him. And they worked to help him take care of his crops. Once there was a woman named Ruth, right, who would follow the workers who were harvesting the grain. And she was very poor and did not have enough money to buy food. And she was taking care of her mother-in-law too. And when Boaz saw her, he thought she was very, very loyal to take care of her mother-in-law. And Boaz told his workers to let her pick up the leftover grain. He told them to drop some extra so she would have enough to bake bread. And he told them to share their water with her so she would not be so thirsty in the hot sun. He was so very, very nice to share with her, don't you think? So we're going to read more about Ruth, Naomi, and Boaz again in our Spark Story Bibles. So if you have your story Bible, I want you to turn to page 114. So 114. 114. To this story, Ruth and Boaz. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. So Ruth and Naomi were very poor. They didn't have any money to buy food to eat. Ruth said to Naomi, "I'm going to go to the field nearby to pick up some of the leftover grain so we can make some bread to eat. Hopefully, I'll meet someone who can help us." In the field, Ruth walked behind the people who were harvesting the grain and picked up the leftovers for herself and Naomi. In the evenings, she would grind the grain into flour and use it to make bread so they could eat. Ruth was a very hard worker. Ruth didn't know it, but she had picked a field that belonged to a rich man named Boaz. Boaz was also one of Naomi's relatives. When Boaz saw Ruth, he asked, "Who is that young woman picking up the leftovers?" See, there's Ruth. And look at, they're all kind of like, who is that? The servant who was in charge of all the workers in the field said, "Oh, her? She isn't from here. She came with Naomi and asked if she could have some of the leftovers. She is a hard worker." When Boaz met Ruth, he told her she could stay in his field and work with the other women. "If you get tired or thirsty," he said, "please stop and rest and have a drink of water." Ruth was very grateful. "Why are you being so nice to me?" she asked shyly. Boaz said, "I've heard how hard you work and how kind you have been to Naomi. I think God must be very proud of you, and I would like to help you." Boaz told his workers to be very kind to Ruth and to let her take all the grain that she wanted for herself and Naomi. So that's Boaz, and that's Ruth. So what did Boaz think about Ruth? Right. He thought she was nice to take care of her mother-in-law. Why do you think Boaz helped Ruth? Right, because she was so nice, right? Well, Ruth worked very hard at the farm. She had to work hard to find grain to make bread. And since she's only able to pick up the leftover grain, she worked a long time to gather very little. And I'm sure she gets pretty hot, right? Because it gets hot in the summer months, right? When farmers have to grow their food, it gets hot. So it's very, very nice of Boaz to offer her cool water to drink. So we're going to make fans today. A fan could keep Ruth cooler as she works hard in the hot sun. So I want you to find your baggies that's labeled November 8th. Well, it says Nov, so Nov 8. Okay, I want you to take those, and some of you have different shapes. Okay, so I have a butterfly fan. All right. So what we're going to do, you're going to need some glue. So why don't you take a second to go get some glue. You can pause the video and make sure you have glue. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to glue our fan stick. Well, why don't we wait? Don't do that yet. First of all, we're going to take the tissue paper, okay? There should be a little baggie of tissue paper of different colors, and we're going to glue it onto our fan. So you could glue it however you want. If you want to glue it in big strips like this, like that, you can, or you could crumple it up, right? And you could glue it on like that. So however you want. So why don't you pause the video right now and take time to do that. Welcome back. So is your fan all put together? Awesome. So now if you have all your tissue paper on your fan, now you can glue your stick to the back, okay? Stick to the back. And you might have to wait for it to dry before you can fan it. Oh. All right. So remember, our fans can keep us cool. All right, so now it's time to pray. Will you pray with me? Dear God, it's time for us to go. It is time for class to end. We've had some fun. We will have some fun again. We know every day that God cares for us above. We follow Ruth and Boaz as they share and care and love. Amen. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me this morning and have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.